Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is $5 Tuesday. I cannot believe I still have a voice, but it was a great night, an even better day. It's my last day to wear this hoodie, Dan. Dan, come on in here.
You the last day to wear the hoodie, and you've just allowed yourself that you can wear this hoodie for the rest of the damn year. I mean, come on. But I will say, we were just getting ready for the show here, and we have a hell of a show coming your way. Steve Merril, we got Jesse Schule, obviously Andy and I giving you some free plays here along the way, and the Prez going to talk a little NHL action. But yes, Andy, with the thumbs up, as we were getting ready for the show, Andy, I was like, you actually are very subdued. You're ready to go for the program. You're not wiping sleep out of your eyes. I would never have known that your team, who was never a football school, just had one of the most dominant college football runs here. And especially when you put it juxtaposition with where they came from before Signetti, and now you go undefeated, national champions as an Indiana alum. I am shocked, Andy. I would never know that your team just made history last night.
Okay. Hot water. Eye drops. Ibuprofen.
And I also off screen have an IV drip into my main vein right now is what Andy Lang is.
We'll talk about it. Appreciate all the really nice messages. I do have a lot of funny thoughts, and I'll explain tonight. But here's what we're going to do from now on, guys. We want to get started right off the bat with some free picks. So what we're going to do is we're going to move WTF LFG to now. So we're going to start off the show with it. Let's go, Dan. Explain the segment and who are we going with today?
Yeah, well, we heard your comments. We're here with you. The jibber jabber will have to wait because we got plays for you right out of the gate here with WTF and LFG every day on the show here. What we do, Andy or I, typically I, if I am not, or if I am on the show, actually give you a play and you let us know, are you following, are you fading? That's WTF or LFG. In this segment, folks, Andy stood in for me. He got a win. We're sitting at 15-7. Last night, we cashed the same game teaser. And if you bet that over, you were a loser. If you bet Indiana minus 7.5, you were a loser. If you teased them both, folks, you were a winner. But we'll table that discussion, Andy, and we'll give you a play here in arguably one of the matches of the year in Champions League. This is Inter Milan taking on Arsenal. This one goes at 3 p.m. Eastern time today. And Arsenal, if you've been paying attention, or even if you haven't been paying attention, probably your soccer fan friends have told you they're sitting atop the table, 6-0 in Champions League competition, really an all-world competition. Arsenal has been solid. Inter enters this game sitting on a 2-game skid here in the Champions League. But what is this? We're seeing a favorite? Yeah, Inter Milan, while they albeit a small favorite, they're at plus 165 here on the three-way line, and Arsenal is sitting at plus 185. So the team who hasn't lost a game yet, Andy, is the team who is favored. That starts putting my blinkers on and breaking down this game. You know, this is two teams who, as they play in this competition, in soccer, they're playing in a bunch of different leagues as well. And with Arsenal, they have a game coming up in 5 days. They're playing Man U. And you could tell me, oh, well, Inter also has a game coming up in 3 days, and they're playing in Serie A. Yeah, they're playing a team, Andy, who hasn't won a match since November. So this is a team who surely will be focused on playing the class of the Champions League. I think they're telling you that this team is favored, even coming off of 2 losses for a reason. I think we have a potential upset alert here as far as the standings are concerned, and a top 5 team moves a little closer to the top team. Give me Inter Milan on the three-way line, plus 165, Andy. That is the play for you in Champions League. And RJ points out maybe a 1-1 draw. I wouldn't hate taking a draw no bet at minus 120, but neither of these teams have really been drawing much with regularity. It's either been wins or losses, all wins for Arsenal. So sure, a draw could be incoming. If you want to do that, Inter Milan minus 120, draw no bet. I'm fine with that bet as well. But if there's plus money to be had, Andy, I want that plus money. Give me Inter at plus 165.
So you're taking the plus 165. See, I'm going to give you a WTF because I was looking at the tie no bet. I think that's the safest way to do it. But
and it's only minus 120.
Plus money. You don't normally get that good of prices on those kind of plays. Like,
and that's
the other
and
ones
that's what's
today
great
are
about
minus 650, minus
exactly
900.
Exactly.
So,
And I think it's only minus 120, Andy, because neither of these teams have really been a draw side. You know what I mean? In other competitions, sure. But in Champions League, it's really been decisions for all of them. But yeah, and nice point out here by Dave. The last time we gave out a soccer play here in WTF or LFG, we cashed a plus 190 before the show was even done. That won't happen today. But yeah, the play plus 165. And as Andy astutely said, I'm fine with the draw no bet at minus 120. So on tomorrow's show, Andy can say, I told you, Dan, a 0-0 draw, and we could have just cashed our 120. Yeah.
Listen, I want to be wrong every time I give you a WTF, which is very rare. So, all right, that's your official play. That's your official.
There's a play out the gate for you guys. There you go. 5 minutes in, you already have a free play that's plus money. Let's ride now, Andy.
Okay, well, let's bring on Jesse, and we're gonna give out not one but two winners of the 3-day pass, because we had Indiana covered the first half, but Miami covered the full game. So Jesse, I got to give you props. I said fade Indiana. Everybody was all over that spread.
I was pretty adamant that I wanted the first half points, and I'm not satisfied with the decision by Cristobal on 4th and 2 to kick a long field goal. I think the percentages would say you could pick up that first down a lot easier than kicking a 50-plus yard field goal with a college kicker. Bad decision by Cristobal. In fact, that game was closer than a lot of people thought, but everything I said about the game, I'll stand by it. Let's say it that way.
It was a good read. Great game. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified when we could not.
The second half, dude. The second half of that game, I was gonna text Andy, and I was like, that would be the worst thing right now to just be like, Andy, are you sweating this? Because I knew you were probably, because the first half of the game was rocking chair stuff. You know what I mean? It was exactly how we thought that game was going to play. Rock fight, good defense, and then the second half just exploded. I even started sweating my teaser under. The second half was a tale of two halves for sure, man. But that interception, that ultimate equalizer.
Yeah, and you also had that situation where the blocked punt, while exciting, changes the game. One of the things that it did was it put IU's defense right back out on the field, and they were tired. Like, Miami was getting the best of the defense. I like when they let teams be physical in big games, but they missed some calls. They missed a lot of calls for IU. There was a couple pass interference. The targeting shot on Mendoza earlier was an easy, like, even in the moment, it looked like a roughing penalty, but whatever. It was a good one. So, Jesse, you did really good. So we got two winners of the 3-day pass coming, and let's just get started here, Jesse, with let's have a break game, and then we'll pick the winners here. So we're going to go to the Spurs-Rockets game here. There's a pretty big injury. Steven Adams rolled his ankle. It doesn't look like he's going to be playing tonight. He's been one of the most insane offensive rebounding guys. So this, to me, is kind of a bigger loss. Don't know if they're taking that into account. -4.5 on Houston. Spurs 221. They're coming off a big game last night. How do you break this game down?
Yeah, Andy, there's been some interesting line moves on this one. If you look at the overnight lines, money's coming in on Houston, and money has come in on the under. This one, the overnight lines had 224.5 for the total. That one sharply bet on down to 220.5. We got some buyback on the over, and we're now sitting around 221.5. And I'm going to focus on the total because something is going on in the NBA these days. I don't know if I'm the only one paying attention, but scoring is down across the league. You can see that the Spurs have gone under the total in 9 of their last 10 overall. On the season, they rank 18th in pace of play, averaging 103.4 possessions per game. In their last 3 games, just 101.8 possessions per game. I looked at the league-wide stats. 24 of 30 teams are playing a slower pace from their season average over their last 3 games. If you just look at the scoreboard the last 2 days, 10 of the last 15 games have gone under the number. And this is a big game for both teams, obviously a big rivalry game. They have played to the under, trended toward the under in head-to-head meetings. And Houston is also gone under the total in 9 of their last 10 games. And you look at that total of 221.5, you think, well, that's a pretty low number. Well, Houston hasn't reached 220 points combined in 8 of their last 10 games. So they're going under the number. They're going way under the number. Houston ranks 27th in the NBA, averaging 101.1 possessions per game on the season. And they're one of those few teams. I mentioned that 24 of 30 teams playing at a slower pace in their last 3 games. Houston is one of those that is the exception of the rule, but it's by a minuscule amount, just 101.4 possessions per game. Houston also ranks 4th in opponent scoring, giving up just over 110 points per game on the season. Given the time of year, and I'm going to mention something else. This is something that one of my handicapping strategies, always in the second half of the season, I find that teams that are still relevant, their defensive intensity increases, the games just mean a little more, and we see a lot of sloppy defense in the early going in the season, which is why I like to I don't play a lot of NBA games in the first half of the season. I really ramp it up in the second half, and I find that the totals go lower in the second half of the season. And I was looking for some documentation, some evidence to bring to the show today. I found it difficult to really nail it with the evidence, but I did come across an interesting New York Times article from 2024, and they isolated a 6-week period in January and February of 2024 where scoring took a nosedive. And it was really an interesting read because whoever wrote the article ended up coming to the conclusion that the officials weren't calling enough fouls, and it was a lack of free throw shooting that led to the lower scores. My own opinion, I think the games mean more. The teams that know they're going to be in the playoffs are playing harder on defense, and you get a lot less sloppy play, a lot less easy buckets. But anyways, whatever it is, scoring is definitely down this week, and I think the money should be on the under 221.5 in this game. That's my play for Spurs at Rockets.
You just touched on something, and this happens every once in a while. So what happens is there'll be a talking point about the officials, and just overnight they'll change how they're officiating. Like and it can affect overs, it can affect unders. But I was reading where SGA, his free throws are way down compared to where they were at the beginning of the season. I think it's there. There was a time where they went the other way, where they were calling everything, and then they stopped calling something right before the playoffs, and the playoffs were just rock fights, and it was just unders galore. So you are absolutely onto something. When there's a league-wide situation where points are down across the board, there's something going on. Smart to follow that trend. So, all right, let's Jesse, let's do the winners here. So last week, Jesse and I went head-to-head. Dan, who won the 3-day passes?
Yeah, so we're gonna do it a little bit different because there was some consternation, whether we're talking first half, whether we're talking full game. Well, guess what? Then we get 2 winners. It benefits to be commenting below on these videos because you never know what's going to count and what won't. So Ed Olson, he was rocking with Andy and IU in the first half, and Aubrey Hatchett, you're winning the full game as that second half, as we alluded to. It covered at every number for the Miami Hurricanes there. So both of these folks, because they interacted, because they commented below and did it correctly with their WagerTalk username, go into your accounts. But by the end of this show, folks, is going to be that free 3-day flex pass. There we go, Andy. 2 winners for the price of 1. Actually, price of none. You love to see it.
I was say price of none. Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations to you guys. It's $5 Tuesday. Jesse, what do you have up? And then we'll talk NFL.
Well, I got a college basketball total for my $5 Tuesday play. I also got just my third ever, only the third time I've put out a 5% NFL prop. I've never lost a 5% NFL prop in my career. We hit earlier in this season with Saquon Barkley over his rushing yards, and we got a 5% prop for the championship weekend. I think that's going to be a very popular one with the guys in the chat.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's talk NFL. We're giving you have to pick a team to fade in the NFL playoffs. Suspects a little limited here. So
yeah, you're not giving me a lot of options, are you?
From.
Wait till we get to the Super Bowl. All right, Jesse, who are you fading this weekend?
I am going to fade the Lambs, the LA Rams that have looked more like lambs in recent weeks. I got to take you back to week 16 at Seattle. They were up big at halftime. It looked like they were going to win the division, home field for the rest of the playoffs. At that moment in time, the Rams were at the top of everybody's power rankings. They were the favorite to win the Super Bowl. They could do no wrong. Matthew Stafford is the MVP. You might as well just hand them the Super Bowl right then and there. But guess what? Seattle ran the ball down their throat. Kenneth Walker went for over 100 yards. And Seattle just came storming back. Sam Darnold did not play well in the first half. He played excellent in the second half of that game. Seattle did get a little bit lucky as well. But since that game, it's like the Rams defense has sort of fallen apart. Now, they've won back-to-back games here in the playoffs. They didn't cover either of those games. Just squeaked by Carolina, and then last week against the Chicago Bears. Did they beat the Bears, or did the Bears beat themselves? If you look at it, Chicago had more first downs. Chicago had more total yards. Chicago had more time of possession. Chicago lost the turnover battle 3-0. Caleb Williams throws 3 picks. That handed the game to the Rams, and they still needed overtime to get the win. If they play like that against Seattle, in Seattle, I don't like their chances. The line's sitting at 2.5. Wrong side of 3 for me. I think it should be 3.5. Seattle, 15-3 on the season, 7-2 at home. There has been some talk that Seattle's not a great home team, and I think that's a little bit of recency bias. They looked like a great home team against the 49ers. Now, granted, this Rams team is a whole different kettle of fish than San Francisco. They're healthier. Certainly they have the advantage at quarterback, and Sean McVay, obviously a pretty stellar head coach as well. That said, this Seattle defense, the best in the league, in my opinion. They rank first in the NFL in opponent quarterback yards per attempt, just 6 yards per attempt. They rank first in the NFL in running back yards per carry, allowing just 3.7 yards per carry to opposing running backs. And of course, first in the NFL in opponent scoring average. I think they get it done with their defense and their running game. Yes, Sam Darnold is the weaker of the 2 quarterbacks, but he's playing in front of an excellent defense. They got the home crowd behind them. I'll take the Seahawks minus 2.5 in this game.
I am so glad you didn't take the easy way out and say, I'm fading Jared Stidham and then the Broncos.
I knew that's what everybody in the chat wanted me to do. I know.
I have not bet it. I will not be betting on the New England Patriots in that game. There's no chance. I think they got some. Some tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, an 8-point line move from Nix to Stidham. That may seem a little bit rich. We'll have to get Prez's thought on that one, because that does kind of feel a little bit rich to me.
Do you agree with that?
Well, you're muted. You first throw yourself on the show and you mute yourself, Prez. You're muted.
I want in.
Well, hold on.
I see that, but you muted your microphone. We'll be with you in a second, Prez.
I'm not perfect. Okay. I will remove myself. Love you, Jesse.
Giving Prez studio powers probably the worst mistake recently in my life that I have made. When Prez logged in, he took me off the screen too. He was just like, screw you, Dan. Here you go. Here's a little bit for you.
He made three mistakes in 4 seconds. It was like, I'm not perfect.
Because I'm not perfect.
That's great. Jesse, do you think 8 points from Bo Nix to Stidham? Am I crazy?
I think Stidham is a great unknown, but one thing I think that can't be underestimated, he's playing behind the number 1 offensive line in the NFL. There was a time when people didn't think much of Mac Jones or Daniel Jones or some of these other guys that came out of nowhere. If ever there's an opportunity for a guy to thrive, this is it for Stidham. If he can't do it with this Broncos team, he's not going to be able to do it. I like Sean Payton's confidence. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm looking for ways to bet on Denver, not looking for ways to bet against them. That's for sure.
Awesome. Great stuff, Jesse. Great breakdowns. Great call on Miami covering the spread in the national championship game. Jesse's $5 Tuesday play is up. All right. Good stuff.
Andy,
we keep the show.
What do
yes.
I know Prez is going to put himself on the screen any second now, but before he does so, you mentioned, see, look, this power needs to be removed from Prez, I will say. But Andy, $5 Tuesday, you mentioned Jesse has a play up, but I'm wondering for you, what are we going with? Are we doing tennis? Because I know tennis has been a freaking cash cow, especially if it's a play that you certainly are liking putting up in that 4 or 5% territory. So is that what we're going with, tennis tonight for $5?
Yeah, so I normally do a player prop every Tuesday for $5 Tuesday, but we got a zigzag here. We've had 4% best bets in tennis in the last 7 months, and we won all 5 of them. So Jan came to me last night and said, this is our play, and I'm like, that is a 4% worthy play if I've ever seen it. So I have definitely bet this with my own money. You should too. It's an Australian Open play that goes off tonight. Half of the parlay we mentioned on yesterday's show has cashed already. So we seem to be seeing the sport pretty decent. So grab that one. It's $5. Again, only had 4% best bets in tennis since last June, and we've hit all 5 of them. So it's a rare smash spot in tennis, but when you trust the process and everything lines up, you fire away. So it's $5 up there. You can get there quicker. WT.buzz/AL. All right, Prez. Now get in here.
Prez, we brought you on. What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's an old Playboy.
Prez, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Keep your hands above the desk.
Bored.
I got bored.
Did you know that women in 1969 look as good as women do today?
This is how you know Prez is back, and Prez is back with a vengeance. Not only have we had a unsolicited drop in, he was looking at the centerfold when we brought him on, when we were finally actually ready for him, Andy.
Yeah, 1969 centerfold, May, my birthday year. A friend of mine bought that for me. So
Prez,
it's a beautiful present.
I always tell people, Prez and I, from the day we met, we just clicked. Prez, I don't collect hardly anything except I have boxes of old Playboys. Boxes.
Yeah,
I have decades of them. They're great.
That's I guess
mine
got lost in the move, Prez. I think mine got lost
in time. Yeah. So why am I not surprised both you and I have something like that? All right. So Prez, 8-point difference between Bo Nix and Jared Stidham.
Okay, so on the best betting show ever, which I think happens to be the best betting show ever.
It better be.
Shocked.
But I think your show is the second best betting show ever, which for the record is a huge compliment because there's a lot of freaking shows out there, Andy and Dan, or Dandy. The Dandy. Okay, Dandy, here's on the best betting show ever, we did a futures segment. And I think the Denver plus 1,100, and if you go to the Westgate, it's plus 1,300, is an amazing bet. And instead of betting Denver on the money line in this game, we had Art DeCesar on the show and we worked it out. Ultimately, you can get Denver at plus 1,100 to plus 1,300, depending on where you're betting. If Denver ends up winning the game, miraculous, whatever the case may be, and I can give you an argument why they will, if they end up winning the game, if they play Seattle or the Rams, it'll be around minus 400. So you will have a massive you'll win a ton of money if you bet Denver plus 1,100 and they get through and then you take the other side. So I think that is an excellent futures bet. And guys, you saw what Houston did to Drake May. Will Anderson lived in that backfield. They had the pass rush was electric. New England really struggles right now stopping the pass rush. I think Bananas, Fofana, and the rest of the boys are going to be all over Drake May. And Sean Payton is at his best when he has adversity in front of him. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Denver's winning this game, but I'm going to tell you that Denver at plus 1,100 is an outstanding bet. That's my take.
I agree. I don't think Bo Nix has been that amazing this year. He's made
here's
some,
a question
he's made some
too.
mistakes.
Prez, would you consider at all pairing that with like an exacta on the other side?
No.
You wouldn't?
No, because I'm just going to hedge it on the other side if they get through.
Okay,
right?
I see what you mean. But isn't the NFC team going to be favored? Is the only?
Yeah, it's going to be around minus 400.
I see what you're saying.
So it's going to be somewhere between minus 380 and minus 440.
And you have a free straddle. Okay, yeah. I love that. I love it a lot more than the Buffalo Bills play, although you were right on the Jaguars game. I'll give you that much, Prez.
Yeah, but I will. Listen, I cannot handicap 5 turnovers. I can handicap 3.
You can't. Unless you said, oh, wait, Josh Allen does this every year. It's like, but yeah, I'm right there with you, Prez. Like that is what absolutely blows anything that we do on these shows up in the face is when your quarterback turns the ball over 5 turns, and he had 6 turnovers, or he had 6 turnovers potentially because they got back one of those fumbles. So yeah, I felt for you, Prez. I
want to quickly address this person, Tessie bets. If Denver wins, Art thinks it'll be minus 400. I see it being less. And that's interesting because we're looking at the minus 400 from a look-ahead perspective, and it takes into account how bad everyone thinks Stidham is going to be. What if Stidham comes out on Sunday and plays great, and they win 31-17, and they move the ball up and down the field?
What does the
then
number
it's
look
going
like
to be
then?
minus 210, minus
Great
280.
point.
So
that's it. It's only upside is what you're saying at this number. You're only looking at upside. Yeah, I love that. It makes a heck of a lot of sense.
If you want another quick futures, Brett, if I don't mind hijacking the show, Minnesota Wild plus 2,000. And the reason is really quickly, they're the only team in the race with a shit ton of draft capital. This is a team, unlike Colorado, Edmonton, Florida, Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Dallas. They have not traded away everybody and every draft pick for the last 5 years. They have a ton of draft capital. They are going to be the big player entering the trade deadline, and that plus 2,000 will be half of what it is in a month.
My head is spinning, Andy. How did we get to Minnesota Wild?
Yeah, let's break down a couple of games that we're going to see tonight.
Yeah.
TNT, Bruins, Stars, Devils, Oilers. We'll start with Bruins, Stars. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, aren't both these teams kind of making moves? One's moving up, one's moving down.
No. Yes. Yes and no. No and yes. One moved up and one moved down. Now they're going to reverse.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Boston Bruins, nobody expected this team to be good coming into the season, and they've been outstanding. 28-19, a record. They've won 7 games in a row, and out of those 7 games, they've won 6 games in a row. Out of those 6 games, they have covered the puck line in 5. They are handily beating their opponents. 5-2 against Chicago, 4-2 against Seattle, 3-0 against Detroit, 10-2 against the Rangers. This Boston team is outstanding right now, but they are about to hit the skids. This team is not good enough to sustain a 7, 8, 9, 10 game winning streak. This team is about to crash. And I'll tell you, you can look. If you go into the numbers deeper, you can see what I'm saying. When they beat Detroit 3 games ago, they outshot Detroit 41-24. They outshot the Rangers 34-29. They did not outshoot Chicago. They only put 23 shots on net against Chicago's 24. They did not outshoot Seattle 24-28. They did not carry the puck. The puck possession was less in the last 2 games. They were not in the offensive zone as much in their last 2 games. They are slowly regressing in front of our eyes, but not on the W column. That happens tonight. Dallas is in that interesting spot, guys. This is a team that had 6 road games in a row. Carolina, Washington, San Jose, the Kings, Anaheim, and Utah. Then they came back home. They played the Tampa Bay Lightning, who doesn't lose, and they lost 4-1. Now they're in the second game at home after a long road trip where they lost their first game. That is an exceptional spot to bet on a team, and especially a team as good as the Dallas Stars. The Boston Bruins are a fade team for the next couple of weeks. The Dallas Stars are a bet on team for the next couple of weeks. We're only getting around minus 140 to 150. Dallas is my play.
Wow. Okay. I like it. I didn't see it going that way because I know how good Boston has been playing. So,
well, the object, Andy, and you know this because you're one of the best bettors I've ever met in my entire life. Dan might not know this because he only brings hair to the table.
But a lot of it.
Yes. But our job, Andy, is to figure out what these teams are going to do in the future. Because tonight is still in the future. Oh. And in order to do that, we got to be ahead of runs. We got to sit there and say to ourselves, okay, what are the New Jersey Devils going to do in the next 2-3 weeks? This is a team that has hit the skids, yet they're loaded with talent. They're a veteran team. They got great goaltending. They're a bet-on team moving forward. Winnipeg Jets, bet on team moving forward. Philadelphia Flyers, bet against team moving forward. Buffalo Sabres, 13 wins or something. 14 out of 16, some insane number. They're a bet against team moving forward. Yeah. Let's figure out the runs that are coming, not the runs that happened.
I couldn't agree more, Lawrence. I do the show, The Prop Line, and we literally have a segment, Starting a Streak, where we try and pick a player prop that's getting ready to go on a run. You get those. That's how you make money. Devils are playing the Oilers tonight here. What are we doing with these two teams? Edmonton, a little bit bigger favorite here.
Okay, so firstly, David Tokarski, I love you too, dude. You watch all our shows across all our channels. You are just such an you know what, David? Andy, Dan, can you get David some wager bucks? I just organize.
I mean, you're the owner.
I'm one of the owners of this company. Organize some wager bucks for David.
All right, we're on it.
I don't mean to put it on your case, but the dude deserves it. Okay.
We bring the star of the best betting show ever onto Wager Talk Today, and Andy, somehow we leave with homework. This is ridiculous. But for you, present for David, anything.
I love you guys. Okay. Well. So I like the under a lot in this game, guys, and I understand that we don't want to. It doesn't feel right betting unders in an Edmonton Oiler game. But I mean, this Edmonton Oiler team has gone under 3 games in a row, 4 of their last 5. They have held St. Louis and Vancouver, their last 2 opponents, to 0 goals. That's 6 periods. 6, not 6, 6. 6 periods without allowing a goal. They've allowed 1 goal in their last 3 games. They've allowed more than 1 goal 1 time in their last 5 games. They are playing outstanding defensively, and their goaltending is playing well. And this New Jersey team is not some offensive juggernaut. They just put up 2 against Calgary, and 1 was in overtime, so 1. And they put up 1 against Carolina. They've scored 2 regulation goals in their last 2 games. Plus, I think that New Jersey is going to go on a run. They've won 3 of their last 4. And in order for New Jersey to win games, they need to play low-scoring hockey games. There are 6.5s out there. Take the under. You guys are going to kill me. Head office is going to kill me. Why are you giving out wager bucks randomly without telling us?
I can guarantee you because JD, Johnny Detroit, always has the show on like in his office. I guarantee you he's like screaming across the hall to M2. And
this is what, you know what? You know what they all should be screaming? Damn right, Prez. David's the best. David deserves a shout out. David deserves some wager bucks. We love David.
We do love David. David was one of the OG winners of our 3-day pass when we started doing head-to-head bets on this show. So it's real good.
And David is one of our Wager Talk insiders, which we also can't say enough about. We're approaching, guys, 800 or more people who have joined Wager Talk insiders, and it's less than $5. I think it's $3.99. You get early access to all of our videos. When Prez's show goes live, as it's in the back end processing in YouTube, you get to be the first people that see it. So that info from Art to Caesar, that's before these lines move. Sometimes by the time the videos go up, the line moves have already happened. We try and get you this info as quickly as we can, but the insiders get it even quicker, and it's $3.99 to do it.
Okay, there you go. I love that insider deal, and Art gives incredible info, guys. I can't thank you enough for having me on the show. I love working with the two of you. I have
before you go real quick. Was that a really good result last night for Art? Was he saying we need Miami all week long?
So here's the interesting thing about that. Their futures was so they were done if Miami won the Natty. Not done, but I mean,
I didn't even think about futures.
They would have got annihilated if Miami won the Natty. And they were like 80% Indiana on the game. The whole thing worked out,
of course,
perfectly.
Of course,
and you know what? Doesn't that always work out perfectly for the books? I mean, they won. They had almost no future bets on Indiana of substance, and they needed Miami on the game. Couldn't have worked out any better.
Well, good for him. Yeah. Good for the sports book.
Yeah. When they lose, I do my little violin. Oh, it's a horrible weekend for the books. I mean, we love
the craziest thing is, and I know Steve Merril's coming up, I got to promote too, but the crazy thing is, people who watch the best betting show ever think that Art is giving out info to get them to lose. Like Art is like
into that. Yeah.
An employer, an employee.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care.
That would be
Art care.
That's like so the other day we went when we were moving, we needed to get a dolly, and we went to one of these hardware stores and we're like, hey, can we rent a dolly? And the guy was like, yeah, don't tell anyone, but if you buy the dolly, you can return it tomorrow for full price. Don't rent one. And I was like, that would be like Art being like, hey, I'm actually telling this to
Dude,
Art doesn't care.
We have a big Passover dinner every April where we have like 30 people in the house. We go to Costco, we buy 30 chairs, and then the next day we take 30 chairs back to Costco. So there you go. Hey, what am I supposed to feel bad for these big box stores that have gotten rid of the middle class and destroyed all small businesses?
All right, Prez.
All right, $5 Tuesday. What do you have up?
Oh, so no politics allowed on big box stores? Okay, guys, real quick. I came on last Tuesday. Now, not all promotions are created equal. Everybody comes on the show and promotes a play. I promote plays every day. That's what we do. This is a beg play. I plead, beg, I insist, I implore, I encourage, I demand you buy my $5 play. I said the exact same words last Tuesday, and it won. And why am I saying this? Because over the last 4 years, this is my strongest play, my most profitable play, the most important play I have. It is a big NHL bet. 90% of my NHL bets, 90% of all my bets are 2 and 3% bets. This is a 4% play. I am on a 6-0 run. I am on a 9-1 run. I'm on a 19-5 run. Put all of that aside. I am 42-17 in the last 4 years of these plays. It does not get more profitable than that. It is as strong as I can give out. It's $5 freaking dollars. If you're not going to buy that play for me, buy it for Dan. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Well Good luck, done. Prez.
I love you guys. So
Appreciate you, brother.
So fun.
Good luck. The Prez. That's why I messaged Danny on the side and I said, at the very worst, Prez's segments will always be the most entertaining of the week. Even at their very worst. And that was certainly not the very worst. Great stuff.
No. Yep. AWB floating all week on the Natty. Let's do some free plays here and all around the world. Then we'll talk to Steve Merril, and I'll give some thoughts on closing thoughts on this IU season and everything that's happened. And some things I learned about last night. All right,
I love it.
let's go to the Spurs and the Rockets. I really like this play. I'm going to put this as a client play. This probably has to be bet. Luke Cornett over 12.5 points plus rebounds. Dan, we talked about how Steven Adams is out. Steven Adams is a beast coming in off of the bench. He's not in tonight. So Cornett comes in off of the bench, and now he faces Clint Capella, who barely plays. Cornett has gone over in 5 straight games that Wembanyama plays. This plays 16-7 on the season. This is too low. Take over 12.5 points plus rebounds. Again, when Luke Cornett checks into the game, he's going up against the third string center. Huge advantage for him. He's averaging 23.5 minutes, 7 rebounds, 8.7 points. College basketball. Shane, you went to college basketball. This comes off the Wager Talk free picks page. Iowa State -13 over Central Florida. Cyclones back-to-back road losses, but they are perfect 10-0 at home. Central Florida gives up 79 points per game. Cyclones average 90.5 at home. And the American Express PGA tourney. Take a look at Matthew Fitzpatrick, top 20 at plus 175. This guy is 8th in the world in total strokes gained the last 12 months. He hit a blip in his game, which is a hilarious story. But he looks good. He's been playing TGL, which I know is not like actual real golf, but he's in shape. He should not be rusty. So Matthew Fitzpatrick, really good price at top 20. All right. Dan, did you know about the real quick, the Matthew Fitzpatrick thing? One of the best players in the world. And all of a sudden he couldn't drive. He could not drive the ball, like spraying the ball everywhere. And it's like, this guy's a winner of a major. It turns out at the beginning of the season, they put these heavy weights in his driver to increase speed and exercise. And they told him they never took him out. They told him they took him out, and they never did. So he's swinging with his own driver. His driver's like way heavier. They took him out immediately back to being one of the elite players. So
he was the anti-Happy Gilmore. He could do everything but drive. And he's what the hell is happening here?
We see these professional athletes and professional teams. You think, oh, they're always buttoned up. Not always. I mean, the Rams players were putting
left the weights in the driver. Yeah.
The Rams players were putting cayenne pepper in their socks to try and keep their feet warm.
Only crazy if it doesn't work, Andy. Only crazy if it does. Earlier in the show, Shane Russell was asking anybody Texas Tech over Baylor tonight. Some thoughts on that game? Well, you're in luck, because one of the greatest at WagerTalk, Steve Merril, is ending the show, and he was already assigned this game. So, Steve, the chat apropos is going to be getting answers that you were already prepared to make. How we doing, buddy? Getting to see you 2 days in a row. What a treat for the WagerTalk Today audience.
That's right. We're going to talk about that game. We're all going to talk about the Indiana Hoosiers basketball, because they're a basketball school, and that's why Andy Lang apparently wore that sweatshirt today, because he knew I was talking about the Indiana
I'm rooting for the basketball game tonight. Yes. Big game, Steve. I know when they play. Steve, I'm sure you like that Iowa State over Central Florida play. I think that was your play, wasn't it? On the free picks
I've got a free play up for college hoops, so people can go check out my page and see if that was my free play or not.
Well done.
How about that?
Well done.
And also,
Steve,
there's a couple $5, one for each side of the bill. 2 $5 best bets. You normally take a zero off. They would normally be 50. That is an instant 90% discount. 5 is 10% of 50. That's 90%. That's how we do math at WagerTalk.com.
Well, let's math our way through this Peacock doubleheader: Indiana versus Michigan. My Hoosiers versus Michigan here. First off, I would just say, like this, I've heard there's a narrative like the basketball team may have a letdown because the football team just won. Is that really a thing?
I thought about it. No,
did you implement it in your?
I thought about it.
Of this game. What's your take on this game? Michigan, huge favorites. You're minus 15.5 over under 163.
Look, I'm all about situational handicapping. I think that's one of the biggest edges, in all seriousness, you can get in any sport, because the odds are set on base what's happened, what's expected to happen, all kind of a norm. So you look for extreme outliers, misleading box scores. I love that, where a team has a lot of turnovers in football, or extreme outliers like from the 3-point range or free throw line. But there's also the situational aspect. And it did, when I saw I was doing this game, and it was one of the Peacock national TV games, I go, wow, Indiana the day after they win the national title, could that affect the basketball team? Probably less likely, because it's a road game. if it was a home game, I think it might be a positive. I think they'd be pumped up. The fans would be energized. On the road, they were most likely watching this game from the hotel last night. So I don't think there's any aspect that will affect them. But they actually might have been a positive had they been a home dog, because they're currently a 15.5-point road underdog in Michigan. They would have been a good size, touchdown underdog, pun intended, at home. The early money did come in on Indiana in this game. It opened as high as 17.5. It's down to 15.5. We have seen some sharp money on the over. Opened 150 now 159. It's now up to 163 in most locations. And of course, Michigan plays extremely fast. They're one of the top 10 fastest teams in the country. And everyone thinks slow down half-court basketball and defense makes you a good team. Hey, we've seen the change in the NFL where everyone's a pass-heavy attack now in football. Speed it up in basketball, baby. I've got Michigan, although they're third in the AP poll. I've got them as the strongest college basketball team. They've basically been my number one team for several months now in all the metrics I look at. They're a top 5 offense and defense. Indiana's a very good offensive team, suspect at times on defense. And Michigan, put this in perspective, they have the best 2-point percentage offense and defense in the country. 365 teams, and they shoot 64% from 2-point range, and they allow just 40%. That's number one ranked at both ends of the court. Indiana also a very good 2-point offense and defense. Michigan does it better. So you have two teams that are going to play up-tempo, two good offensive teams. Whenever you get similar matchup, I'd rather have the better squad. I disagree with the move on Indiana. I'd lean Michigan minus 15.5, but I agree with the move to the over 163. As you know, highest totals always go over. Not always. We always look for highest totals to go over. They normally go over. Somebody caught me in the video one time. I say high totals we play over, low totals we play under. One time it didn't work, and they're like, Steve, it didn't work. I'm like, nothing always works. But in general, we do get some value because they don't set it high enough. And even with this 4-point move, I still think there's some value with the over in this one. And by the way, Indiana did play a road game against Michigan State, another really good Big Ten team last Tuesday, lost by 21 in that one. I see another double-digit loss tonight. They also lost by 12 at Kentucky. They have not stepped up well in class on the road this season.
Let's do Texas Tech and Baylor. By the way, Steve, there has been one thing that worked 16 times in a row this season.
Do tell.
Andy will be leaving.
Yale football?
Who? Sure.
Does Dan have a Yale football jersey on?
Yeah, exactly.
1894.
18.
Yeah, baby.
Let's do Texas Tech versus Baylor. I think this is the second leg here, and much closer spread here, minus 1.5, over under 155.5.
Yeah, this is your second game on Peacock, 9 o'clock Eastern tonight on Tuesday. The Peacock doubleheader, and this one should be a pretty competitive game. Baylor currently about a 1.5-point home dog. Unranked Baylor against, I believe, Texas Tech's like 19th right now in the polls. And by the way, this Saturday I will be debuting this year's top 25 video, the first time this season. Now that football is done on Saturdays, I will have my college basketball top 25 video like I do for football every Saturday. So make sure you click subscribe and you click that bell here on WagerTalk TV. Be recording that most likely on Friday evenings once we hopefully get some lines out. So we will be talking more about the rankings. But if you watch that video for the last several years, one angle I love is to play unranked home teams against a ranked opponent. Brian Power and I talk a lot about that. Baylor doesn't quite qualify here, but it should be a really focused spot for them. Not much movement on the line, though. They opened as a 1.5-point dog. We have seen it go up to 2 in a few spots. Texas Tech taking a little bit of money. Sharp money, though, on the under in this one. Talked about the over in the last game. The sharp money's been on the under in this one. Opened 158. It's now down to 154 in this one. Texas Tech Baylor should be a high-scoring game, though. Both teams played a moderate pace. Neither team, though, gives up many 3-point shots, and that's a little sneaky angle you can use when handicapping totals. As I said earlier, 3-point variance is really the great equalizer in college basketball and the real random factor that's hard to quantify. But neither team gives up many shots from the 3-point range. In fact, they both rank top 50 fewest 3-pointers allowed this season in the nation out of all 365 teams. And Texas Tech does not get to the free throw line much. Only 29% of their points come from the charity stripe. And Baylor allows some of the fewest amounts of free throws in the nation this season. So not a lot of free throws in this game. Not a lot of 3-point attempts from either team. Although both teams can get up and down and have a good offenses, I agree with that move to the under here. Under 154, low 3-point rate, less free throws. That's something you look at when you're playing the under. So take a look at under 154 between Texas Tech and Baylor. Your late night, 9 p.m. Eastern game on Peacock tonight on Tuesday.
All right, Steve Merril. We've been asking this question. I'll pose it to you.
Yeah.
Jared Stidham, 8-point difference between him and Bo Nix.
So that's interesting, Andy. I was thinking about that today, and I didn't pull up the advanced lines from last week. And I didn't think the Broncos would have been, a couple point favorite, as we were saying?
Probably
that's what I was trying to
2.5
figure.
point favorite would be my guess. I think that was the advanced lines we were seeing from like DraftKings and FanDuel, how they put up those early look lines, 2.5, 3.
So we're talking about 5 now. So, yeah, you're talking about an 8-point difference, and it's an excellent point, Andy. This is something I was going to bring up later this week in my videos. Still diving into both NFL games. We'll have both games free like I've done for every playoff game, most likely around Friday probably. We usually try to do it a few days in advance, get all the information possible. Yet another reason, click subscribe, click the bell. You get both NFL games and Saturday top 25 college hoops. But I was going to bring up that point, Andy, so I'm so glad you mentioned it. It's not what a player is worth. It's what the difference is between the backup and the starter. Mm-hmm. And, I brought that up in the Denver Bronco Kansas City Chief game. That was another one of those prime winners. They thought it was done. I've had people begging me to say prime this entire playoff season. I still worked it in. But seriously, that was a huge adjustment between Minshew and Mahomes. And then we had another drop-off with the third stringer. I can't remember his name now. It was Chakakam. What was it? Shaka Khan? Anyway, it was like a 16-point difference. And I said, that's too much. The Chiefs covered and lost the game. I don't think Bo Nix is anything special. He's had a solid season. He's serviceable, but he's a mediocre quarterback. Denver wins with defense. They win with their running game. Excellent point. I don't think there's an 8-point difference. Haven't decided yet which way I'm going in this game. Might look at some props as well. But, yeah, excellent point. That's how you have to handicap injuries. Mm-hmm. And we talk about it so much with the NBA, right? We see these teams, the line moves 7-8 points when the star player is out, and the team still went outright. And the reason is because, yeah, that guy's great, but the guys have been getting half as many shots when he's on the court now take twice as many shots and they can score in their sleep. That's another reason why those injured NBA teams continue to cash.
All right, good stuff, Steve Merril. Appreciate you name? As always. Who?
The third stringer for the Chiefs. I honestly cannot remember.
I thought you nailed it with Shaka Khan.
It was something like Chokamam.
Yeah, it was something that I leave it to you to pronounce in the videos.
Shaka Khan. That's a great song.
I have enough trouble keeping up with the people's names who are actually going to play and contribute to the team, let alone the third stringer for the Kansas City Chiefs. How
about this real quick, guys? I mean, Stidham was with the Patriots. I got to pull up the data still. I hadn't dug into that yet. But Edge, does he have some insight? I mean, obviously Vrabel wasn't there, so it probably doesn't apply.
Yeah, but McDaniel, he worked closely with McDaniel, so I don't know if he knows enough of what they're doing schematically now. You also have a new quarterback and everything like that. You could argue that McDaniel's probably going to know an edge against him, but my big thing with this whole like Nix to Stidham thing is so often this year when I was making a cap on the Denver Broncos, very rarely did my handicap include I'm making this bet because of Bo Nix being the starting quarterback of the Broncos. So a lot of the time you were handicapping this team around what you got from the quarterback. So when you were capping this team, it was what they brought you on the defensive side of the ball, what they brought you from a home field advantage standpoint. Does that really change with the quarterback? It's something fascinating to kick around with you guys all week long. Steve's going to have videos on it. And, of course, we'll be asking the chat the thoughts on how this really affects, because it's a pretty interesting situation. And Patriots fans know backup quarterbacks in big-time games, it's been pretty good for the backup quarterback. That's all we'll say. Nick Foles. What do we got? $5 Tuesday, Steve Merril. What are we looking
so Dan, at? Real quick, I pulled up Stidham's numbers here. The 2 years he played meaningful minutes in 22 and 23 with the Raiders and Broncos. He has not played at all he has not thrown a pass the last 2 seasons with the Broncos. He had over 1,000 passing yards and an 88.5 QB rating those 2 seasons, 88 and 89. Very consistent. And I don't have Nix in front of me, but I'm pretty sure Nix is in that 80 range, probably career QB rating. So, yeah, I don't think it's an 8-point difference, and it's definitely something I'll talk more about in those videos this weekend. Yeah, click subscribe, click the bell here, WagerTalk TV, instant alerts when all those free play videos go up. Bonus free college basketball play as well for Tuesday, along with 2 best bets, one in the NBA, one in college hoops. And I really like this college play tonight. I think it's a great situational play. Like I was talking about earlier, I love situational handicapping. Both $5 each. If you wanted to try out my basketball best bets, today's the day to do it. $5 Tuesday. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker. WT.buzz/SN. You see it on the screen. Dan Alexander, the best in the business at popping graphics. He don't pop
Great
pills.
Stuff,
he pops
Steve.
graphics.
No, sir. No, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right.
Great. And it's a great question, Andy. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing, what the chat says all week long, because again, I've been, after talking with Crack and Yanni yesterday, like I went and I locked in the 5.5 while I still could. Now there hasn't been that, crazy move. It's going to keep fluttering around that, but I don't know. It's a super interesting handicap for a team who hasn't looked that strong outside of what they've done defensively, but it's also been bad weather games at home. It's an interesting handicap, one of the most interesting of the season.
Absolutely. Okay, couple thoughts. The Giants made one of the most savvy moves. There's a rule when you're hiring people. Mm-hmm. When you get your guy in the door, you don't let him leave.
You make it happen.
Think about if they
how he gets to step over Shane or however you say his name.
No, think about if they would have waited. You don't think Harbaugh wants that Bills job?
You don't think Stefanski and Harbaugh are like, shit, I could have coached Josh Allen?
So two teams got their guys, and now both of them would have been incredible Buffalo. So I thought that was an interesting
Agreed.
One. Okay, last night. So we all kind of realized something. This is basically the only year that people are going to be happy for us.
That's a good point. Now everyone hates
now all of a sudden nobody's rooting for us next year.
No,
nobody. So this is an interesting feeling that like an hour after the game, it was like, oh yeah, now we got the target on our back, and now we're going to be the ones everyone's coming over.
This is what winning football is like.
Yeah. So
and like the whole like feel good story about Cignetti, that's gone. Now Cignetti is going to be the guy that everybody hates, that they can't stand to see on the sideline. I thought it was funny when we started the show here today, and everyone in the chat's like, "Congrats, Andy! Like, let's go!" You know what I mean?
Not
Imagine
next
if you
year.
were a Chiefs fan. That wouldn't happen. You know what
okay.
I mean?
Okay. This was another thought that I had. I know everyone's glad that happy that the Chiefs are out of the playoffs. I'm not. Would you rather watch C.J. Stroud or Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game? I would just like to see the best quarterbacks, please. I would just like to see Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs rather than some of the atrocities that we've seen from the playoff quarterback. So
I would rather be waterboarded than watch C.J. Stroud play playoff football. So that's a very you're preaching to the choir here, man.
Yeah. Like, can we just get the best quarterbacks in there? Okay.
Well, yeah, it was like we paid for our sins. Yes, the Chiefs are now out of the playoffs, and what did it do? It brought us back to the Patriots. So
yeah, this is
11 straight years of either the Chiefs or the Patriots.
We're back to the Patriots now. Great. Let's see. It just goes back to like how in March Madness, when we all say we like to see upsets, but whenever there's an upset and one of the big teams gets knocked out, the ratings plummet. So
we're like, now I get to see St. Peter's brick every shot they do in the next round against UNC. Yeah, this is great. That was a fun upset. Now I get to see them get completely boat raced by UNC. Awesome.
Yes. It's really hard I did not party nearly as hard as people think I did. It's really different when it's on a Monday night.
Yes.
Like everyone
I don't
works.
love the I don't love the Monday. It doesn't really make sense to me, especially when you're talking about, and I get it, they don't want to go head to head with the NFL. Like, it's all strategically done, but it's a game that's exclusively played on Saturdays. You know what I mean? And then just a Monday night championship. It just, I don't love it. I don't like how it also says that it starts at 7:30 and it doesn't really start until 8:00. It's it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
So, all right. So there was that. So it's not nearly the party that you would think. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. But I do have to tell them. So I have a friend, and by the way, the weekend game, boy, did we tie one off. My God. And one of my buddies that was there, he tells us, so he's like, hey, I have this presentation. It's the biggest in our company's history. We're a startup. I've been working on this 6 months. People are flying in from another country. They're here for one day. And like, basically my entire company depends on me. 8:00 Tuesday morning after the national championship. So he had to like be on his absolute best behavior.
He's like sitting there, legs crossed.
And what country would you not want them flying in for as of certain things that are going on today in the world?
Oh, yikes.
They are from Denmark.
Oh, oof, like oof. That's it. This is how you know that irony is not dead quite yet, Andy.
Have fun at your presentation, my friend. So I cannot wait to talk to him tonight to see how that went. So pretty wild story. But boy, the season was just a ton of fun. I have some questions about Mendoza. I have two big questions about Mendoza. The first is, what is this guy really like when there's not a microphone in front of him? Because he's like this cartoon character. But then you saw it. Did you see when they asked him? They were like, "What's tonight going to be like?" And it's like something just switched in his head. He was like, "It's gonna be insane." I'm like, "Oh, this is the guy that
it's gonna be a
like
movie.
Wreaks havoc at parties." Yes, like this is the guy that's Project X.
My thoughts on Mendoza are this, Andy, and it is trade the pick, Las Vegas Raiders. That is my thought on Mendoza. Trade the pick. Get the draft capital. That's my thought on Mendoza moving forward here.
I hope he
love the kid. Don't get me wrong. Fun kid to watch. If I was an executive, I would be trading the pick if somebody wants him at the first overall pick. That's what I'll say.
I will say if he does get drafted number one, I actually hope they go get Sean McDermott. I think that would be a great coach for him to start off with. Like McDermott's been good with developing guys.
Floor raiser kind of guy.
Yeah, but I worry about where he goes. And I worry about his he's good, don't get me wrong, but is he this elite prospect that can like literally carry an entire NFL team on his back? I just don't really.
But we're going to get fun Jameis Winston-esque quotes for the entire Mendoza. He will give Jameis Winston levels.
He's going to be great for the league, no doubt about it. So, it was really, really cool. So great story, great season, a lot of fun. Appreciate all the well wishes. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Big show. Thank you so much, guys. We got an even bigger one tomorrow. It's $5 Tuesday. Get as many $5 plays as you feel comfortable with. David, said in the chat, go get Andy's play. Loves it. Thank you very much. 4% Australian Open best bet. That goes off tonight. Hopefully we show up tomorrow morning with some cash in our pocket. And oh, by the way, there is a 4% cricket play that is up right now, and that starts after midnight tonight. So if you want to get the $5 play and you want to get the cricket play, that cricket play starts at like 12:15 in the morning. So easiest cash in the world on our last cricket play. So we have a 4% cricket play that goes off, and we are going to run a cricket special. If you would have told Johnny Detroit we're going to run a cricket special a couple years ago, he'd be like, "No, we're not." But we're going to do 365 days worth of cricket because this needs to be a part of your portfolio. So, and now you get to actually bet it with us, Dan.
I'm very excited. Yes, I'm very excited. Books are not, but I am very excited to finally be on board with some cricket. That is for damn sure, Andy.
All right, let's have a big Tuesday. Thank you so much, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.